Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we found some interesting, info regarding Music Box and Mr. Great Aiden's identity, I guess. And surely we're gonna try to get as much witness testimony from him. No one up to shooting. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Winterbank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he sheltered himself in the storm. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused in the black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. The blood spattered all over the wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. The peephole? Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary testimony. You claim, sir, under oath to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Okay. It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood splattered all over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All over his black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Really? If her coat somehow could be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here. I don't know about that. We already know whose blood that is in the coat. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently, a German scientist developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's to true science, not some amateur's detected dubious foray into the world of chemistry. There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all the sound. Ideas are no use to us here in science, as in law. Theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in courtroom by the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has all quantity of chemical reagent used with your lordship permission. We could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. This doesn't look good, Luno. Why not? Well, we know we don't we? There's all blood over in front of Ginny's coat. Yep. If they tested with their chemicals. Oh, help. You're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. But it's clearly freaking thrice-fired Mason's blood. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot. Yeah. The blood is clearly thrice-fired Mason. That's not Winterbank's blood. That seems from 2 months ago. That's Mr. Mason's blood for when he was stabbed from Mr. McGilda. He was wearing the coat at the time. My lord, the defense objects to protest proposed by the prosecution. Overruled. Lord Von Zieks makes it so at once. With pleasure, my lord. And while we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Shit. Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gina will be Counsel? Yes, my lord. Your cross-examination. Of course, my lord. Fuck! This conversation doesn't go well. If I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or a really comparing clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Fuck. These ruffians jousting with the broker. I was near entrance of the shop, okay. When Mr. Windybank emerged from the storeroom, I believe, Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in my life. Yeah, we're just regular mild-mannered burglars. That's all. We don't like violence. Says the pair who carry a gun and shot Mr. Sholmes. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the door running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. From the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1, and I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help me little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me over the blooming counter. So I put me gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scarper. The pair of you setting upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together, shame on you. Sorry, Gub. When the man drew the Nash over, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counters. 3 men were brawling. It was exactly at that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. But the bullet went to strike the counter and the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I could explain what happened to the doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Windybank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well now, I don't imagine he noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home. When I pulled me gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scampered through that door in the back. At which point, what did you do? I pursued a man, but he shut himself in the storm before I could see him through the peephole in the door. You mean you had chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprising, the storeroom door is a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening in it about the head height, but that's lets you see what's in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. Yeah, you witnessed both him and Windybank and Regina. And what about the burglars? Did you see what was going on through this peephole as well? Nothing like that. Doesn't see nothing of the sort, Gov. I doubt that these 2 buffoons are even aware of the people's existence. So then the Skulking brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windybank take place? Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed straight toward the man. And then, what did you see next? The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Windybank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. As we already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. But no, that wasn't the broker's end that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Winterbank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely, a third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, but so clearly there had been a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. No, she didn't. But no other gun was found at the scene. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry? You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker, the girl glaring at each other, but then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. A chilling image, I must say. God dang it, what am I supposed to present? I saw blood splatter over that wretched girl. All over her? Yes, through the people, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now. What with the coat being such a dark color? But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Winterbank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from the Miss McGill stabbed him 2 months ago. It's so annoying. If only they only accept Hurley's chemical analysis so we could prove that. But they won't, so unfortunately we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Bother. Then she tossed the gun out of the people, so I picked it up and made my escape. Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right, after the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole in the floor on the side of the door. Why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there in case any more tragedies took place. That's a clear flaw. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours truly. I left to clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up? What do you mean? We made a bit of a mess around the counter. So Mr. Whistle and Fluke told us to tidy up. Things are alarming Mom sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance a second in your jacket pocket? You're like a bull at the gate, aren't you? What the fuck? What's going on? Gentlemen? What the hell was that? Gregson. Something wrong, Sunshine. That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin. Blimey, this dude's a bit of a hooligan, ain't he? What was going on just now? You saw me grabbing Whistle. Why the blazes, you said? Didn't you mention the third gun when you got there on the station? And why didn't you? 'Cause we didn't know nothing about it. Or that flaming people in the door. Sorry about that. I could be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Good, blimey. See the way he's looking at me. I'm telling you, this dude gives me the willies. That was strange. Inspector doesn't normally get as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone. No, that wasn't like Greg C at all. He's normally all sweetness and light no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think he might be a special case, Cyrus. Oh, and anyway, that was our definition about a character. What are you hiding, Gregson? My lord. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Explain yourself, officer. I had the results of the test order earlier, my lord. Ah, the blood. On the accused overcoat. Oh no. Thank you, officer. Very well. No cross-examination hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel. No, my lord. Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were a result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report. Goodness me. Is that it? Can you stop spinning and dancing, you fool? See, what did I tell you? No, the blood on that coat is not Windibank's. What on earth made me to say that, counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at the Windibank, McGilded had finally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood in that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker of the omnibus case. Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? Sorry? 2 months ago in this very courtroom, did you not argue firmly for Mr. McGilded's innocence, and yet now the man is dead? You brand him as a murderer? You conduct shatters any respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. What? But that was... I call it a bounty disgrace, treachery, what it is. How do I determine whether the blood in that coat was 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem, Papa. It can't be done. But we use Mr. Sholmes' specially forming chemical. Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put soft faith in a chemical device for me, example? I'm a communications officer? I held up Trotsky to Starving Boy and he ran away crying. Herlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom, no weight at all. How could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish. How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir? As the witness said, the accused's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could have possibly known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. Nah! Fuck! My lord. Been a long battle this one, but this old war has something to say now, if you please. Mr. Foreman. As of this moment, sir, this squadron has reached its final decision. Summation? Ready, men, all for one now. Sir. Fuck! No! Come on, guys. We have to continue this trial. What is wrong, you people? Oh my God. Well, it appears the ladies and gentlemen of the jury reached an unanimous verdict. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Summation? Here's to any attempt you make at unpicking the juror's decision being equally successful. Summation, I don't believe it. After I've come so far, how is it all unraveling on me so fast? Summation? How very distressing. Be held in such low esteem.
Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Huh? Officer, you delivered a report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me that some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo. That scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind.
Huh? Who is this? I know. Wait, what? Know that voice. Am I going mad? Wait. Oh, it's Sholmes! Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes!
What is the meaning of this? Order! What business do you have here, detective? Last I hear, you were recuperating in the hospital.
Well, I would be if I had not been set upon an errand.
What errand?
Hurley, it's really you. You're awake at last.
Ah, yes. Good day, Iris. I appear to be late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me. And what matters, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need more than 5 minutes. Will you be so kind to spare us the time? What say you to this, Lord Von Zieks? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly, I've been spent so long. I don't want to go wasting any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would be careless to deny a defense of mere 5 minutes. Very well then, Kelsey, I've had 5 minutes.
Yay, Sholmes.
My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival.
Sholmes, are you alright now?
Alright, I'm all wrong. Sorry? I only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked for the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. I pray forgive me should I pass out.
Let's make this discussion as short as possible. Hurley, this place is full of idiots. I don't know how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is.
Well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble of finding for appraisal by the scientific community. Oversight on my part.
Right, modesty? Surely not.
But enough of that. I'm here to give you this. My dear fellow, what is this?
What's that, a lavender fur shuki wrapping?
Leaving present from Miss Sasato. Sasato? If possible, matters will be settled about giving me you this. Those are instructions when she asked me to do this her first favor. I don't understand. Mrs. Sasato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand. That means you, Mr. Nara, may find it fairly as you are wont do. Would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you were given this small parcel. Those are the dear lady's instructions. A leaving present from Sato-san, whatever could that be? What is this?
Oh, it's the machine I made.
Ah.
Mina... Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the cat flapomat. Make a cat flap for a friend like Waggy in seconds. How is this gonna be useful for me? What's Susie up to?
Mrs. Sato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. What? Did she say something like that?
You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
No!
Tell me, what does this thing have to do with the case? Whatever she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes.
That night when you left Windibanks in pursuit of the thieves. Mr. Sato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow. Well, not at all cryptic then. Sato uses cat format that night? Wait, she brought this thing? But why? Cat format has been entered into the court record. Alright, our 5 minutes are up, isn't it? As he breaked, oh dang it. Your 5 minutes is over. Hold up, guys. We got some more court record shit to go through. But what does this have to do with the case? Phew, those vicious teeth look like they could rip almost anything. They're good, aren't they? They're a special alloy developed just for this job. The cutter rotates 10 times per second so it gets through any kind of door in no time at all. And what are those two parts at the top there? Those are for attaching hinges to the section of the door that gets cut out. Right, of course. Nothing can match this machine for power to make mincemeat of even the toughest of doors. It sounds so charming and friendly when you say what it is for, but it feels like the reality of a cat format it's a grim weapon of door destruction. Well, guy is adorable, so there's nothing I wouldn't do for him, even developing deadly weapons. I'm curious how this will be useful. Why? Wait a second. I hope it's not my imagination, but no, it can't be. We're out of time already? God dang it. I'm grateful for your recordings for your brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are unanimous in their leans. No doubt my learned friend will consider summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The rest is down to you, my dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests a further cross-examination? Fuck! Should I do another summation? Or do we... further cross-examination. Do we finally have evidence from the testimony? Further cross-examination. The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates you may not cross-examine the new witness now. The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness. Rather, to continue with the one of the existing witness. What? It would appear that a rather important detail escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. Yeah, we interrupted the cross-examination. Yeah, I see. We suspended the cross-examination. So nobody's gonna say anything then? Uno asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Gaiden. The court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd! I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request a continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity to conclude the cross-examination. Counsel, if you must choose one statement from the witness's testimony, You have one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it.
A single chance to present evidence? Okay, it has to be that thing.
If following that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witnesses any further. Oh no! No pressing! Fuck!
My lord. Yes, my lord.
A most single statement of single piece of evidence, most indeed.
Well,
then, Mr. Naruto, it's high time I fell into a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands.
Mr. Sholmes, no!
The stand so instantly before the court is saber high.
Let me check the court record. Can I check the court record? Let me check real quick. Whoa, 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 whoa! I see it. I see it. Okay, I see it. But how did he get his hands on that? How? How did he get his hands on that? That's what I want to know. Okay. So 1 o'clock. This didn't... I don't see any lines on here in the door. This. I don't see lines. Oh my god. This changes everything. So this was really used. Okay.
State of high fever. Yet the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling.
I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you?
Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared?
Let's do it. Yes, one statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down or Iris. And I won't waste this final chances that Susato has given me. It's going to decide the outcome of this trial. Okay, I'm going to save real quick. We're not going to end the episode. Just going to really save. A lot of important shit is going down, of course.
Very well then. Under the terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
Oh, what the music's changed. I cannot press them. Okay. How did you create... Did you create the peephole? Were you the one who really created? This was... Okay, there was no outlining here. Of course. If you compare this photo... Yeah. I did not notice that until now. Oh my god. I think it's this statement. Okay. Okay, I'm presenting it. Pray to God this is the right answer that Mr. Sholmes gave me. 3, 2, 1. Yes.
What on earth is that eccentric contraption, counsel?
Oh, it's my cat Flamet, my lord. It makes ways for cats to go in and out of the room. It can cut through any door you can think of. It can make a little dome in the middle of it. That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please without their owners having to open their main door.
I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves.
Huh.
But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case.
Oh, really?
Of course it doesn't, to start with. There was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door. Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I failed to see what this has to do with the matter at hand. Perhaps it would help if I described its function as another way then. This contraption is able to create people in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all. I beg your pardon, a peephole, you say? 2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder when the banks had taken place. That's right, according to the paperwork at the yard. It was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together. Everything had come to my attention, and my assistant made use of this device at the time. Your assistant did what? There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Wait a second. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? What if the peephole wasn't made at that time? How did you know the peephole then? You said the peephole was made with the peephole was made because of freaking Susato-san. Wait, how did you know there was a peephole? How did you know there was a peephole? The peephole wasn't made yet when you were there. Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much in my testimony. How else could I witness the crime for pity's sake? Yes, how could you? What? Counsel, kindly say what you mean. Alright, it's time. Time to strike my final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My sister made the people in the storeroom door until such time as she did. The door had no hole in it to look through. What? No! And we have the evidence to prove it. This is a farce. Are you really suggesting that the people in the door was? Yes, it was all created after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistant using this device. Your assistant's tampered with the crime scene. Must be fully aware of the gravity of her actions. This most serious act of vandalism, for which I humbly apologize, my lord, but that's not important right now. But in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in the light of this new info, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes. Riddled with? Explain yourself, counsel. The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based on what he witnessed through the people in the storeroom there. Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident, that people did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claimed to seen. Ugh. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Perjury? Perjury? Order! Is there any evidence that credits this revelation? None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly, this is some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. You exactly people believe that plating can cut through a single solid wooden door? Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. Can cut through the toughest of doors. That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second. Ha! I had a feeling you'd say that. What? Waggy Koi, time for dinner. How is the cat here? Did you create this during the trial? Well, young lady, this is the Old Bay. What does that make? A cat flaps in the old in the Old Bay. We can worry about vandalism later. My lord, not done yet. Don't worry. This doesn't mean that the people in the storeroom door was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was. Oh, really? No, but it's easy. We have evidence. What? The cat flaps in my cat flamat creates all for fixed size. The dimensions of the people at Windabanks are exact match. Ugh. Hee hee, old Silky's lost for words. Excellent work, Iris. Thank you. And now it's my learned student's friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. And you may have some difficulty establishing all the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the people as dimensions are a perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the people cut to prosecute demands proof of your answer? Ugh. What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Von Zeeks? It is very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the people was created after the incident using this device. But now the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to that fact. There is no proof. And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove the people is made, my learned friend claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation. What? No, we have evidence! We have evidence. Indeed, that is so, Lord Von Zeeks. Well, counsel. Don't give up hope, Uno. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through. I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Sato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world. Yes! Poggers. Thank you for this, Sato-san. Very well. The counsel for defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the people in the door of the Windabank story was created after the event and not before. This one, right? There was no people until like 1:30. Yeah. So yeah, let's present this. 3, 2, 1. Game. What are you? A print from that detective's infernal cameras again. My judicial assistant, Mrs. Sato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which has never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof. And the necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel. This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises. Agreed. And it shows the accused mercilessly wielded a gun in the direction of the defense's spoke. But more to the point, it is pictured the storeroom floor in the background. Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. This really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of people of any description. Ugh. Sir Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claimed to have done. But at that time it happened, there was no people in the door. Perjury. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies. Yeah. Order! I'm satisfied with the defense has substantiated his claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness testimony is entirely fallacious. That's not the only thing we know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. A woman tampered with the crime scene. But more importantly, good lord, there's more, Lord Von Zeeks. The defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right. What? We don't have the gun. I was there at the crime, it's true. And I was shot in the arm. It's true. But that's all. And in fact, if you look at the circumstances... Ah! The victim! Yeah! Oh my god! Someone actually said the line! I'm the victim! There we go. Finally. Someone actually fucking says it in an Ace Attorney / Phoenix Wright game. Holy shit. That's gonna be the fucking title of this episode. Oh, please. No! I don't believe this. He's the victim? He's the victim! I'm the victim! We don't have the gun. But they're right. As it stands... Wait a second, how did you know about the peephole? That's what I want to figure out. Who told you about the peephole? Like, when did you had info about the peephole? That's what I want to figure out. Did someone tell you? Right, as it stands now, I have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Still, he cannot worm his way out of it now. Iris, you know what they say. There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat is bolted. Isn't that right, Luno? As Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait, that might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What did you say in your testimony? It reveals that you know something that you shouldn't have known. How did you know about the peephole? In other words, there's a fundamental inconsistency with your statements. What? This provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris is right. One lie begets another. Inconsistency revealed by the lies within the witness's statements show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely the peephole. How did you know about the peephole? And where's the third gun? Where's the gun? Bloodstains on the coat. Peephole. Yeah, it's the peephole. The point is not that you lied in your testimony, but Mr. Graydon, it's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you this one question. Simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? I'm not getting the door. What? Well, obviously, will I? How's the cat cut your tongue, witness? Peep on the door was made after the incident occurred. Once I returned from the shop having to fail to catch 2 burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks to constantly carry out their investigation. Is that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, yes, of course, The place is chock full of pawn articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock and ships, and we can get through it all. And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gain access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door, so the fact that existence forms your base of your testimony is completely inexplicable. Ugh. And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the peephole in the door. How on earth is that someone told him? Who on earth told him about the peephole? Possible. Grab a word, please, Lord Von Zeeks. Speak, Inspector. It's just that I really ought to be getting back to a station to put my report. Huh? There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you. Permission denied. Oh. It's not all the same to me, Inspector. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes. What's Gregson hiding?
Of course, sir.
Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else. Ugh. Stop there, my learned friend. Who told him about the peephole? You realize I trust that the words you utter have extremely serious implications. Yes. The defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Green claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really one person it could be. Huh? We do? One person in question, counsel. Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate this false? Okay, I'm gonna save the game right now. So next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we said, don't leave us in a cliffhanger. We want you to finish the case. Sure, we can finish the case, but that will be cliffhanger to the next episode. See you guys all next time.